Hey man, we back for another week back here at Atlanta Rap History, man. Another week, we coming in another week, man, talking about this Atlanta Rap history. We talking about the history of Atlanta Rap. Y'all know about the Migos. Y'all know about Lil Baby, man. Y'all know about the T.I.s and the Jeezy. But we talking about the history of this thing, where it started.
Where it started.
Where it started from, Big Boy. And my co-host, man, he knows. He was back in the day. My co-host was part of the J team. So he knows the Atlanta rap history. And we here on this show to talk about the Atlanta rap history, to get the history right? Because sometimes if you look it up, you mess around and Google some stuff, they ain't got the history right. So we had this show to come in to talk about the history of Atlanta rap, man. So as you know, I'm your boy Chuck C, man, from them Throwback Boys Zone 3, represent all day, every day. My co-host, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, man? I'm managing more of the party spot, straight west side to the east side, all over Atlanta. It don't matter. Y'all see me, y'all know where I'm at. I'm out here in these streets and all that.
Hey. So like they say, man, we here to talk about this Atlanta rap history, man. And when we was talking last week, we was talking about, the week before we was talking about the very beginning, right? And we talked about who was the very, very first rapper out of Atlanta. And we came to the conclusion that it was Mojo. And he had a song called Let Mojo Handle It. And that was the first Atlanta rap song. That was the first Atlanta rap song. Then right after him came Kilo and MC Shy-D. Right? Even though Shy-D wasn't from Atlanta, but he came to Atlanta and he put the rap game down in Atlanta. And these were the three first early pioneers in this Atlanta rap thing. But we know that it went on. They might have was the first pioneer, but then right after that, we had my friend, close friend of mine, Sammy Sam the Hitman, came out right around that same time. I want to just
that sound about right.
Something. That sound about right?
Well, yeah, you know, we can't leave out Raheem the Dream.
Raheem the
That's
Dream,
for sure.
We go talk about it, because Raheem the Dream, out of his own mouth, in an interview with Big Facts, shout out to Big Facts podcast, he said he came in 86.
Okay.
He said he came with the song Raheem the Dream. He said he couldn't get he couldn't sing it. He had to go get him some girls to sing it, and had the girls come on and sing. The song was produced by DJ Toon, that went on to do big things with T.I. later on. We everybody know DJ Toon by T.I., the stuff he did with T.I., but we know DJ Toon go way back. See, we talk about Atlanta rap history. But he said it was 86, right? He said 86. Okay. I want to play this song. I want to play something. I hope everybody out there can hear it. I want to play something.
Okay.
You heard that story, baby. In 1984. In the old school. Now he said, let me play it back one more time. In case y'all ain't hear that, I want y'all to hear it out of Sam's mouth, not out of my mouth. You heard this story, baby. In 1984, in the old school. So he said he started way back in 1994.
94, they ain't far back enough.
2 years before.
84 or 94?
84.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
He started way back in 1984. And he said back then it was him, Shy-D, and his partner Kilo. So he was saying those was the first three that was around back when he was doing it back in 84.
Okay.
Now, Raheem the Dream said that he came out with his song Raheem the Dream. He said before that he was MCing parties. DJ Toon was on the turntables. Raheem was the MC. They was doing parties. 86.
Okay.
He graduated from Thorough High School, and they made the song Raheem the Dream. That was 86. 2 years after Sammy Sam said he was doing it with Shadi and Kilo. 1984. We talking about 80. We talking about, you gotta have a little bit of this to talk about what we talking about.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I got some myself.
Gotta have a little bit of this to talk about what we talking about. So he said, right. 84. This was before some of y'all met before your daddy met your mama. We talking about 84. 84.
Woo! Woo! Yes,
man. Sammy Sam representing that Zone 3. And if anybody know me, they know I represent that Zone 3. They know, if you know anything about the Throwback Boys music, it say Zone 3 all through almost every song on it. Go say Zone 3 somewhere in there. And that comes from being fans of Sammy Sam the Hitman, coming from being a fan of this Atlanta rap history, man, and just trying to carry on the legacy of what the people before us was doing.
Right. Well, might I add, now we are talking about records that was aired or played maybe on the radio, or we talked about records played in the club or stuff that was on the street. Because even like, if you want to go back, like you said, we're talking about Mojo. Now Mojo, he was considered the first rapper to have a record played on the radio. Now, I'm thinking that before Sammy Sam, Kilo, and Shadi. All right. So saying that, I have to take it back a little bit more than that, because I have to go back to people like pioneers like Edward J, who actually would rap on mixtapes, who was the soundtrack or was the radio to the streets. Because at the time, you had B103, which was an R&B station.
Right.
And they would only play hip-hop music, which was on Friday night, called a Fresh Party. What y'all know about the Fresh Party?
About the Fresh Party. If you old enough to remember the Fresh Party, click in the comments, man. We talking about Atlanta rap history. Right. So go ahead. But saying that, Edward J would rap on mixtapes. So we talking about what was recorded or what was played on the radio, or we talking about a pioneer that people heard on the street who wasn't able to hear these things outside of Edward J distributing music of these artists who you speaking of. Right. Because we know Edward J go back to the tapes. So we talking Atlanta rap history. We saying before CDs, we talking about tapes.
That's right.
We talking about the reason why they call it a mixtape for all the youngins out there. The reason why they call it a mixtape, because back in the days it used to be on a tape.
Exactly, a physical actual tape.
Right, and Edward J was the sound of Atlanta. Edward J was playing what Atlanta was listening to. That's right. And speaking of Edward J was a DJ, right? And we know if we talking about Atlanta rap history, if you know anything about Atlanta rap history, the DJs was some of the first ones to make records in Atlanta. It was the DJs. It was the DJ Kizzy Rocks. It was the DJ Lens with Success and Effect. It was the DJ Bonays with the A-Town Players. It was the DJ Smurfs with the Old Lord. It was the all these DJs. They was some of the first people that was putting out music in Atlanta. Let's talk about it.
Right. Well, just being that, even coming from the DJ's perspective, you had DJs who were also producers, like your DJ Man, and your more definitely like you say DJ Lynn,
DJ
kind of
Lynn.
evolved, right? Who kind of evolved into being artists. As far as Lynn, you know. But I have to say that back in 80.
Somebody in the comments say the DJs don't get enough credit. That's why we're here to talk about it.
Right. But just to say that though, what I even mean by first producers, because on the drum machine, what we know as the 808 and the 909 rolling drum machines, not only was Edward J playing music that artists you know had recorded, but he was making his own beats and will rap over those beats. So I would say that's production. I would also say too, like I say, he rapped over a lot of the stuff, whether it was stuff beats he produced or whether it was instrumental. But your DJ Smurfs, like you said, and your DJ Lynn, DJ Man, a lot of other people kind of came through the JT, and I kind of think set the standards and kind of put Atlanta on the trail.
Yeah, because a lot of these DJs that we naming now, all these DJs are associated with Edward J. All these DJs come from up under Edward J. So let's when you break it down to even bigger scope, so you got, like you say, Edward J, and then under that you got your Kizzy Rocks, right? And then somebody just said Kizzy Rock. You got your Kizzy Rocks, right? Up under Kizzy Rock, and then you got to thank all the people that Kizzy Rock produced. They came, all is still coming up under the umbrella of the J Team. Then you got DJ Smurf that was part of the J Team that went on to be Mr. College Park, right? With Mr. College Park, you got the Yin Yang Twins. You got Soulja Boy. He's the first one that signed Soulja Boy. All these come from up under DJ Smurf, which came from up under DJ Edward J. So we see that the J Team is kind of like the foundation. Kizzy, everybody shout out Kizzy. Shout out to Kizzy. We go try to get Kizzy on.
What up, my partner? What y'all know about Kizzy Rock?
Yeah,
my partner. You know what I'm saying? That was my partner in crime on the J Team. But let me just say this though. Reason I said it is because we talked about the year '84. And we talked about the year '86. But I had a mixtape myself before I was even a member of the J Team, where Edward J said, back in the days of '83, it was Edward J and Wanda T.
Oh, so we're going way back.
Yeah. That's what we talking about, right? We talking about the history, right? So we need to go.
Okay. Talking about so this right after Mojo did something. On the other side of town.
Now we get to it. Now we get to the bottom of it. Then we work our way up. Then we can work our way up to '84 and '86 and all that other stuff. Okay, but yeah, I'm just saying to go back.
Edward J was putting it down, and like we said, the DJs was first. The DJs was first. Like somebody said, man, the DJs ain't getting enough credit. He said, hey, tell them about the party spot.
What you do, bro? Hey, get it, Bill. This is this motherfucker, man. Yes, sir. My player partner, you did. Yeah. But what I'm saying about that though, just elaborating on the beginning and the history of it. Like I say, you don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. You did.
Exactly.
But so my point is saying, kind of elaborating a lot on the history of Atlanta, where it started, because I like we got to look at the trailblazers. And I think at that point in time in history, what we had is something that people had nowhere else. Now Texas had DJ Screw, which I knew Edward J was before DJ Screw. Even in Atlanta, we had your own camps and the DJ Jelly. Now I'm talking about the person that trailblazed all of these cats in Miami. Like, where you from? Florida.
Okay, let's talk about it now.
Who we had? Jam Pony.
Okay, let's get if you want to get where it really come from now. We talking about
Hey,
you got to go back to the bottom, cause you know a lot of it came up from Miami. You know, came up. You know, dealt a lot in Atlanta culture. The music was kind of same. We was cousins really, as far as the sound of the music. You know, we liked the 808 bass. You know, we was doing the bass thing, and y'all was doing the bass thing up here. So we and the same way. You know, our DJs, the DJ Slick Vicks, they was making records and stuff way back. You know,
and from what I understand,
way back. Yeah.
Right. And from what I understand was buying Miami, Florida being like a port state, you know, city, whatever, a lot of the Jamaicans came in, and a lot of the bass music, which is kind of like the bass of Jamaican music, where it was a competition between who had the loudest system or the DJs coming out who had the biggest. They kind of started off what we call the bass music, which kind of did influence and migrate into Atlanta. Because here's to say that what Jay originally was and is from Florida.
Right. And see, like you said, our culture was a little different. Our DJ battles was a little different. See, we battled with sound. Right. Our DJ battles in Florida, it was about the sound, right? It wasn't necessarily about, it was about the sound and the records that you played. The records that you played, that was the big thing too. But it was really about the sound, because the DJ will just drown you out. It don't matter what you playing. They'll play their music so loud that nobody can't even hear your music. So I just want to just sidebar right quick. Want to give the people an example of back in the days when I was growing up, and we used to have DJ battles, and they used to have them at the stadium, right? They had this stadium called Lockhart Stadium. It's where all the high school players, the high school teams used to play. And this is how a DJ battle would go back in my time. You would have one of the main DJs would be in one end zone. And whoever was the next best, they would be in the other end zone, 100 yards away. Then you would have the ones that wasn't that loud. They would be on one side of the 50, and the other one would be on the other side of the 50, because it's only 20 yards going this way. They got 20 yards. The other one's got 100 yards in between them. It's 100 yards in between DJs. There's a DJ over here, and there's a DJ 100 yards away. And it's about the sound. Whoever got the loudest sound, and the people go migrate to that side of the field and be down there jamming with them. But then the other DJ sound might be so loud that they'll cut on, and everybody will leave from there and go to the other DJ. And it was all about who had the biggest sound, right? And one of the biggest DJs was CM Express. CM had 72 cabinets. They will come to your neighborhood and set up 72 what we call Hanks. Hanks with these big old bass bins or big speakers. They stood probably about 4 feet tall, about 4 feet wide. There was big speakers in this big old box. They call them Hanks because a guy named Mr. Hank was the one that made them. You would buy the speaker, take it to Hank, he would put it in the case for you in the what we call a bass bin, right? So CM, these folks had 72 bass bins. They will come set up in your neighborhood with 72 speakers and just blow it down. Right? Yeah. 72 speakers. Now, the most famous DJs was Jam Pony Express. By far, they was the most famous because they made tapes. And they tapes was selling like hotcakes. They was platinum way before you ever heard of this thing called platinum. They was selling tapes after tapes after tapes, and they was real popular. And we see that because we could see their same sound. We see it in Atlanta music. Now, these some people from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but if you hear some Atlanta songs like the What's Up song, you hear, hi. That comes from my partner, Big Ace. Rest in peace, he's passed now, from Jam Pony Express, originally from Dillard Holmes Express, but he moved up to the big leagues, which was Jam Pony Express. And this sound, we seen it migrated all the way up to Atlanta. And we see it had the same type of sound. So like we say, back in the day, we was really cousins with the music. We was 2 different states, but the sound was real similar. Even when our hip hop founders, he did his 3rd album in Atlanta. That's JT Money. but he did it in Atlanta with an Atlanta label and everything. He did right here in Atlanta. So we always been close with the music. The bass
Oh yeah, for
music did
sure, for
something
sure.
big in Miami, and we could hear that it was big up here in Georgia. But what I want to talk about again is the DJs. Let's talk about like I said, how the DJs went from making the beats to actually rapping on the beats.
Okay.
So you say you remember back when Kids Rock first started messing with the beat machine. Let's talk about it.
Well, like I say, it goes back. I think the first introduction, even to Kids and I of with the drum machines would be from there with J Shot, where I was telling you that he would produce instrumental beats to put over to mix in with other records. And so that our first exposure would probably be the first exposure to that would probably be from there with J Shot with the 808 and the 909. Then it progressed to the SB12 and then the 1200. So kids at the time, we still kind of DJing, kind of just put mixtapes together. So that came a little later, even for us producing. Now, my first producer for my group, who I had, was DJ Man.
DJ Man, talk about it.
And we were right. He produced my first single I made. Shout out to Bolo. We had a song called "I Never Tell You to Get Down." It's all about coming up.
Yeah,
with DJ Man produced.
Get down. It's all about coming up.
Right, and DJ Man produced that. So that was my first experience with the drum machine. Working with a DJ that was producing. So, and I think too that sometimes DJs do have ideas that sometimes that artists or a rapper might not be able to project over a track or something that they might put together or something. So I think that would kind of led DJs into kind of doing the MC part in some instances, Yeah. And not every instance, because like I say, DJ Man, I never known DJ Man even ever try to be a rapper. Mm-hmm. Never. I never heard him rap, But DJ Lynn was my second producer.
DJ Lynn, let's talk about it. Tell them who DJ Lynn is and what he went on to do.
Well, DJ Lynn was one of the DJs, and I would say between DJ Man and DJ Lynn were really the first outside DJs that Edward J had, who was really real DJs. And when I say DJs, I ain't talking about just mixing, or it's like what other DJs might have been able to do. But when it came to tricks, mixing, cutting, scratching, back to back, doing all that stuff like that, those the first DJs that I knew of, that kind of did that. Just like I say, just having ideas and being creative as a producer. Sometimes it'll string you into, doing raps and stuff like that. But DJ Man, to me, that I know of was Shadi's first DJ.
Mm-hmm. This before he got with Toon, because remember Toon was with him and Smurf, if I ain't mistaken, wasn't Smurf with him? He had two DJs he used to travel with. Anybody in the comments remember who his two DJs was? I can't think of it. I can picture the album cover, but I can't think of the two people that he had two DJs.
He had Mike Fresh. He had Mike Fresh as a DJ.
Mike Fresh from we know Mike Fresh from Miami.
And like I say, DJ Man, like we spoke of before, you say the first record that Shadi had done was done, the scratching and cuts on that was done by DJ Man on Shadi's first cut, but later on, like I say, once DJ Smurf, Mr. College Paul joined the J team, then his talent was undeniable as far as a DJ. So later on in Shadi's career, that's why when he linked up with DJ Smurf.
DJ Smurf, right? He used to have. That's what I thought. He used to have DJ Smurf and DJ Toon with him. He had both of them with the Georgia jackets on the back of the album cover. They both got they all got on the Georgia jackets. And
Exactly.
exactly. So they was one of the first ones, and then they moved from the DJing to actually, you know, making beats their own self. And then, like you say, some of them even went to getting on the mic, like DJ Smurf. DJ Smurf had a song called Lord.
And that's post DJ Man for his Mike Fresh and Tune. And DJ Smurf is post Mike Fresh and DJ Tune with Shadi. So all in the game, Shadi had like 4 different DJs.
Right. Atlanta DJs. Atlanta DJs. But talk a little bit more about Lynn and what did Lynn end up doing. Tell the people who DJ Lynn is and what he ended up doing.
I got you. Well, DJ Lynn, like I say, he was one of the prominent DJs, you know, if not the best, one of the best DJ LJ ever had on the team.
Shout out to DJ Lynn. Shout out to DJ Lynn.
My partner. That's my partner too. A1 Day One, my partner. You did. Yeah. So he produced, like I said, my first record. But DJ Lynn, man, and DJ Man, I was fans of them, man, before I even met these cats, man. And I end up, like I say, both of them end up being producers for me and my group or whatever. But then was in a group called Success in Effect.
That's what I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
And Success in Effect, shout out to my player partner, Laser Rock, Professor Laser Rock too. Holla at your boy, man.
Laser Rock, you know what I'm saying? Talk about it. Laser Rock. Shout out to Laser Rock.
That shout out to Laser Rock. Yeah, I'm checking in with you too, my niggas. I'm gonna see you now. But look, check this out. Now, both of them 2 artists were members of the J Team too.
Right.
So I would say that's the first success group that came from that.
So you say Success in Effect was the first one to actually break out from the J Team and make some records.
Roll it up, my nigga. Roll it up.
Hey, I'm with it.
Roll it up, my nigga. Roll it up. Hey,
I'm with it.
Hey. Now this something that I hear from the horse's mouth about Professor Laser Rock, who's a phenomenal artist, rapper, man, even to this day, you know. But he the first artist that ever hollered out Glenwood on a record. But now you got your 21 Savage and you got your what's my boy name? My mom stayed out Glenwood. Yeah, when everybody hollering Glenwood and stuff now, Professor Laser Rock was actually the first artist that screamed Glenwood, Eastside Decatur on a record.
On the record, hey, talk
he
about
said this. He told me this. This what he told me now.
Let's talk
and
about it.
And I can take your word for it, because he at the beginning of it.
Yeah, because we talking about early in it to well, but we always, me and you always talked off camera about this, about the East Side having a big part in Atlanta rap history.
All right.
But if you from out of town, you just go know Atlanta. You're not gonna necessarily know the Decatur. You're not gonna necessarily say Decatur. You're not gonna necessarily say Glenwood. But you go probably just say you go say Atlanta, because for the people on the outside looking in, they don't know. But we know that a lot of this stuff was on the east side. Well, a lot of stuff was going on the east side. Let's talk about it.
Oh, okay. Now, back to the trailblazing situation. Now, being that LJ was on the borderline of Atlanta and East Atlanta and Decatur,
right on the border.
I think that was a big influence that made a big influence on the east side, because to this day, LJ, one of his slogans is making Decatur sound much greater.
Right.
So by us having him as a trailblazer and seeing that our voices can be recorded and they can be heard, I think it was a trailblazing situation for artists coming out the east side, which was like you were saying, hey, a lot of this stuff, man, came from the east side. But even though we talking about Atlanta rap history, but we ain't talking about Atlanta rap history without talking about East Atlanta and Decatur, the east side. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. But a lot of this stuff the history kind of started on the east side.
Oh.
A lot of the history, even Shadi, when Shadi came from New York, he landed on the east side.
Cause he had a song called what? Where I Stay in Atlanta, but he had another song too called Decatur.
So we know that a lot of this stuff started really on the east side, but again, by Atlanta having the popular name, they go say it was Atlanta. But again, Edward J, and if anybody know Atlanta, Edward J first shot was right on Fayetteville. If you know Atlanta, you know Fayetteville is the line. On one side of Fayetteville is DeKalb. On the other side of the Fayetteville is Fulton County, Zone 6, Fulton County. On the other side of that one street is DeKalb County, Decatur.
That's right. That's right.
Now that's where the first shot was. But then where was the second and the third and the fourth?
Well, most of the shots I would say would be spread throughout the east side.
Throughout the east side.
Right.
Somebody
still riding on the border. Still riding on the borderline. East Atlanta, Cluster Avenue.
Because they did have the one in Kirkwood. They had the one in Kirkwood.
Kirkwood.
Shout out to Kirkwood.
We had one at Calla Road.
They had
Calla Road and
McAfee. Right? So
we had one at
this stuff, Calla Road, Glenwood, all this stuff. These things, it was really kind of going down. Jazzy T's, a real popular club that was going on at the time, was on the east side, and a lot of songs and stuff was getting played and broke in this club, Jazzy T's. You might need a little bit of this to know about that Jazzy T's too, but that Jazzy T's was a spot that was on the east side. And then again, when we talking about the people that was making the beats, we talking about the Kids of Rocks. They was from the east side.
Right.
We talking
let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Because then before you Jazz T, we had something that I think a lot of places didn't have too. And that was a club called Sharon Showcase, which was a teen club that was in East Atlanta as well.
Sharon Showcase. Let's talk about it. Sharon Showcase. Right. And for y'all that don't know, it was just that. It was a showcase. She used to showcase talent. That was her thing. Shout out to Miss Sharon. Miss Sharon is on O'Reilly's. She's still out on O'Reilly's. If you're in Atlanta, she on the east side. On the east side still.
Southern Highway.
Showcase was on the east side. We're gonna talk about that too. But shout out to Miss Sharon. She worked. That's right. Got the club O'Reilly's on Covington and Decatur. So if you're in Decatur, go by there, holler at Miss Sharon. Real Atlanta history. She could tell you Atlanta rap history. We go get her on the show because she can talk about some things. Another
trailblazer. And reason why
she could talk about some things. She could really testify to some Atlanta rap history. She was there. She know. She was there.
Right.
Shadi first video was at Sharon Showcase. Look it up. So she would know the beginning of Atlanta rap history. We gonna have to get her on
but some people might not know that. Like I say, that was in East Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Gresham Road.
You
know, if y'all would say, hey, Gucci Man territory, all this stuff, East Atlanta, everything claim bold, Crip, Black Show, Gresham Road. Now let me just say this too. Let me say this. Sharon Showcase was a skating rink before it was a teen club.
Okay, talk about it.
It ain't much to talk about. It's just before I even moved to the east side from Atlanta. I knew Sharon Showcase. Well, it wasn't Sharon Showcase. It was a skating rink because she was good friends with my auntie, and we would come out there to the skating rink. And then once I moved to the east side, that's when it kind of turned into a teen club, a showcase, like you said, where it gave artists exposed. So that's what I think. Stuff like that, having stuff like that, kind of made everything a trailblazing to what it is now.
Right.
You know,
and we owe this is why we have the show, because we owe these people. Sharon needs to be spoke about. Edward J needs to be spoke about. These people need to be, it's no Atlanta rap without these people. So
it ain't no Atlanta rap.
That's why we made this show, because these people need to be talked about. Right? Because true enough, the rappers, but who the one gave them a platform? to be able to talk. That was the Sharon showcases that they gave them. That was the J team. They gave them a chance to come on and be able to get their music heard when people wasn't really trying to let them get their music heard. Now tell me, we talked about this off air before, but tell me about, you was telling me about how Shadi used to come up to and try to get on the J tapes.
Well, I know he kind of did some stuff with Edward J, and like I said, that before I joined the team, I had some Edward J tape that had Shadi on it, you know, and it was before I even heard a Shadi record. And I think he was kind of fresh from New York at the time when he was here, but I think that's why I say so much that I think that the Trailblazers, man, kind of make everything, because everything started from a spoil. So if my spoil started, started before a spoil somewhere else, I think they give us a lead and an advantage. You see what I'm saying? Over to what make the music what it is today, because all these artists and people were people that we grew up amongst, which influenced us, influenced other people to want to do the same thing, to be artists and be DJs and be producers. So that's why I just give it so much credit back to the pioneers, man. You know what I'm saying? The people, like you say, you Sharon Showcase. She wasn't an artist, she wasn't a producer, but she was a platform. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when we had that, they didn't have that even in Atlanta. It's some place they didn't even have it in Atlanta. You see what they kind of had on the East Side. Right. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's the reason why, why, like what you were saying, out there, that the East Side kind of responsible for a lot of this stuff that's going on even to this day. It come out of that.
Hey, a lot of it come out of that. It come out of there. A lot of these, again, they wasn't nowhere for it to get played. So, but places like a teen club, like a Sharon Showcase, right? These were the places that was playing the early rap stuff, the early letting the rappers get on the mic and freestyle and do all these things before they even had a record of their own, right? The rap over instrumentals and things like this before they even had records of their own. Right. So we go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, just from the exposure to all of that, from your Edward J's playing music that you wouldn't have never even heard, just because it wasn't a radio station that played this music. That played any of this. Like I said, at the time it won a 107.9, it won a 95.5. It was only B103 that was pretty much the black station that was here, and it was it was B103, the R&B station. Right. But they would only play hip hop music for a couple of hours on a Friday, so you had to have a tape where you could record the Fresh Party on Friday to be able to listen to it past that. But other than that, it wasn't nothing but Edward J tapes.
Right. And Edward J tapes was what they was playing in the cars, is what they was playing at the parties.
Exactly. Now that goes back to what you said about Miami, about how it was all about the 72, which say 72 speakers on the field. Right. Okay, it translated to parties here having nice big system, but it resonated to the cars here. Yeah. So it was about how big your sound was in your car. And that's even still to this day. Right.
And we know that, and we know that that's the reason why Edward J, now we're going to tell y'all some history now. This is the reason why Edward J, even when it got the 808s and all this stuff to add to the music, to make the pillow-based music, because of the system. He had recognized that the people wanted to hear that boom in their car.
Exactly.
He recognized that. And
that led to
music to cater to that.
And that led to your pillow bass, to your bedroom booms.
Talk about it.
All right. Now we had, even Yin Yang Twin had a song on the album called Bedroom Boom.
Right.
Okay.
But where did it come from? Where did it come from?
That came from me and Kizzy Rock, DJ Smurf, and Lady DJ. We can't forget Lady DJ.
Yeah, they can't forget.
That come from us taking
DJ. Shout out to Lady DJ, man.
Shout out to Smurf, Mr. Collie Port too.
Shout out to Smurf and Mr. College Park, but
Cause he a
like you say,
pioneer.
the unsung heroes. We know who Mr. College Park is. We talking about the unsung, the lady DJs, the one you might not know who it is, but had a big influence on Atlanta rap history. Her mixtapes is what, if it was on her mixtape, you figured that was hot. That was what was hot, what she was playing. Somebody say her name. Now you gotta tell.
Let's tell you how big. Look, you gotta tell them this story about how you felt about getting on the lady DJ tape. You gotta tell them that. What that was to you? Really? Now they tell you that's a trailblazer too. Now
she's a trailblazer. Now, when I first started doing music, I figured if I could get my song on a lady DJ mixtape, I would be the biggest rapper out. I thought that was the top of the line. That was better than getting signed. That was better than anything. People used to tell me like, yeah, I know her, she stay over here. And I would go over there looking for her. And they'd be like, yeah, my cousin, sister, brother, next door neighbor, he know her. And I'd go over there looking for her and go here and go there, everywhere looking for lady. I used to stalk her. I used to be at the Candler Road Flea Market, stalking this lady, trying to get with lady DJ because her tapes was just that big. If but you know what? DJ tape, your song was hot. She only had.
But you know what? Songs. You know what's bigger than that her mixtapes, than the sound of the mixtapes? Her voice.
Yeah.
Lady DJ had everybody looking there, all the band boy looking for her, because she sounded so sexy on them tapes, man, that made you want to go.
yes, man. Lady DJ, another pioneer. Where
and that's my dog too. That's my dog. Lady DJ, I love it. That's my girl too. Lady DJ.
Lady DJ. Shout out to Lady DJ, man. Another one was DJ Goldfinger. And DJ Goldfinger was kind of Atlanta standard. If you was, we talking about like the youngest, they go think of what the
that's a little later though.
DJ Drama.
That's a little later.
Yeah, they go think of DJ Drama when you think of mixtape. They go think DJ Drama was the one that started with the Atlanta mix. But no, we talking way before that. We talking 10, 15 years, 20 years before DJ Drama. We talking about Atlanta rap history here, man. We talking about the history. We talking about, like I say, we talking about the Sammy Sam, the Hitman. Right. One of the original pioneers. We talking about the Raheem the Dreams. Shout out to Raheem the Dream. We talking about the original pioneers of this thing. Matter of fact, man, hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. We talking about. Why he do that? 1 second, y'all. We talking about Raheem the Dream, man.
Okay.
That's what we talking about right here, man. We talking about Atlanta pioneers, man. We talking about. Don't forget about that dude. He came later. We talking about this dude right here.
That dude up through that too, though.
This dude came later, but we talking about this dude right here, man. We talking about Atlanta rap history, right?
And you know what? And you say Atlanta first rapper. I have to say Raheem the Dream is one of Atlanta first rap pioneers.
One of the Atlanta rap first pioneers.
Well, I mean entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, one of the first ones. We talking about before So Def.
Right, independent.
So Def. Independent, Raheem the Dream.
That's right.
Raheem the Dream. I'm gonna tell you another one. Now I'm gonna show you this one right here. Don't worry about the guy behind him. We talking about the one in the front. Right there.
Okay.
That's Kilo Ali.
Kilo Ali.
Atlanta original. We talking about Atlanta rap history on this station right here, man. We talking about the history over here. Right?
Tight to death. That's right. Tight to death. Right.
So again, we talking about the entrepreneurs, right? Because Atlanta nowadays, we known for having our own record labels, right? Atlanta is known. You got the QCs. We known for that. But we talking about way back. Raheem Dream had the label way back. And I'm jumping a little bit in the Raheem in the history of the rap, right? But Raheem the Dream first signed Dro Dro was first signed to Raheem the Dream.
Now I knew Drummer. I knew Drummer, but I didn't know Dro.
Drummer.
I knew he had Drummer.
Drummer. Did we talking about Atlanta rap history? We talking about left, right, left, right, left, right.
That Drummer. That Drummer, right?
Get on up, right, left. Raheem the Dream.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You meant Drummer. That Drummer. Yeah,
Drummer was first signed by Raheem the Dream. He was discovered and signed by Raheem the Dream. Raheem the Dream had his own company way back then.
Pioneer entrepreneur. That's why I say
entrepreneur Raheem the Dream.
That's right. That's right.
And then,
but you know what?
Go ahead.
In all of that, I still have to go back though. Because if you ask me, LJ still functioned as a record label, and I'm tell you why I say that. Because he sold mixtapes at a price for $13.50. Now we talking about since the 80s.
We talking about the 80s.
Now let's do the math. Yeah. Now we can do the math now. Now we talking about.
Don't know about this. Youngins don't know about this. I got my nephew Cash watching. The youngins don't know about this.
They don't know about this.
In the
1350.
This back in the 80s.
For a mixtape.
Oh man, shout out to Mook B. We got Mook B in the house, man. Hey, Mook B.
What you do, Mook?
Man. We
got D4L one time.
Man. Hey,
already.
We talking about this Atlanta rap history over here, man. But again,
that's right.
For y'all youngins who don't know, 1350. They was paying for a cassette
for a 90-minute rock.
1350.
Hey, but you could get a 60-minute for $10.
For $10.
If you a little short, on your money, you can get you a 60-minute for that. And then we talking. This what I'm telling you now. I'm talking about we sell hundreds of tapes a day at 1350.
At 1350, y'all do the math.
Y'all don't hear me.
Y'all do the math.
Entrepreneur. Pioneer.
Y'all do the math. Now, see, nowadays ain't nobody paying nothing for no music, right? Ain't no, you make your song, you can't stand in front of the store and sell it for $1.
You can't even give it away.
But back then, they was
if they don't know about
$13.50 for a tape. Look, this ain't even a CD. This is a tape, y'all.
And had 4 stores at one time. But let me say this though, they were all record stores. But not one record was sold out of none of the stores because it was all Edward J tapes.
They selling nothing but their own product.
Come on.
Selling nothing but their own product, man. We talking about early Atlanta rap history, but also Atlanta rap pioneers. We talking about, see, cause I know when you talk to the youngins, they like to hear that money talk. See,
that's what we talking.
Nephews out there. I see my nephews out there. Now, when you talking to the youngins, they like to hear that money talk. So
that was better than selling dope. It was better than selling dope. It was better than selling dope. Matter of fact, it was selling dope. Shout out to my brother Skiwi. It was selling dope.
Tell them.
Dope music that people couldn't get was called supply and demand. The man had 4 stores at one time selling nothing but tapes out of it.
Y'all peep this now. 4 stores selling tapes, hundreds of tapes a day. 4 stores at $13.50. Y'all do the math.
Do the math.
Y'all do the
math. Now you tell me about Atlanta rap history. Does that not make a mark in the game selling hundreds of tapes a day at $13.50 with 4 shops?
With 4 shops. So like again, we talking about the history of this thing and the reason why they do it today. The reason why you got a little baby, the little baby. This is why. Because the pioneers, it's just the reason why you have these people. It's only because these pioneers thought enough to say, hey, New York doing it, we can do it.
They started the flame.
But they said if New York can do it, we can do it. And they started this thing, what we call Atlanta rap. And it's blown up to be something so big today, man.
Well, the difference is New York had all the major record labels there in place where they can walk their records and stuff or demos straight to these people and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We had down here. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why a lot of artists who had got exposure was through LJ tapes. Because it wasn't no other way to hear it. It was all independent music.
Right.
So you wouldn't know about it unless you heard it from. So a lot of these artists, and a lot of these artists need to pay homage, older artists in place. And I mean, I'm not even talking about artists that's from Atlanta. I'm talking about your Luke Skywalkers, all the, we play, just like you talking about Jam Pony. Jam Pony had mixtapes up here, like Edward J and the JT had mixtapes in Florida. We had them in Texas. They flowed all across the South. Right. And I know they was in other places like California, play that I know because I knew people who would actually come down here and get them, or had kinfolk that'll send it to them, that'll buy them and send it to them. Right. So
by the box load.
By the box load. But that's how he would buy the tapes. He would buy the tapes by the case. I remember FedEx, UPS, whatever it was back then. UPS were bringing cases of mixtape just for us to pre-record. And we would have 4, 10 tape decks stacked up. All day, all we did was dub tapes to put in the case for sale.
For sale, making money. Legal money. Legal money. Good money. Doing music, doing something you like to do, man. And again, we got to go, man. This hour go fast when you talking about this Atlanta rap history.
Oh man, already, man.
Oh man, it's already.
Hey, well, just let them know, man, to be back on anything there too, man. Cause we gonna be doing anything. We'll keep advancing it, cause we just gotta keep it at the history of it. But it's a lot of history when it comes to Atlanta.
It's a lot of history. Next week we're gonna be talking about my partner, my friend, my homies, Sammy Sam the Hit Man. We're gonna be talking about Raheem the Dream. Y'all tune in next week, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we talking about this Atlanta rap history. And if you want to know the history, come to.
Or if you got some input on the history,
let us know.
Chime in.
Chime in. If you got some input on the history, let us know. We talking about this Atlanta rap history. Anybody know something we don't know? Chime in. Let us know. But tune in next week. We're going to be talking about Sammy Sam the Hitman. We're going to be talking about Raheem the Dream. We're going to be talking about Kids of Rock, DJ Lynn. We're going to be talking about this Atlanta rap history. Make sure y'all tune in, man. You can find me on Beats by Chuck C on Instagram. Shout out.
That's right. And I'm Magic Moore. You can find me anywhere. Everywhere. I'm all over Facebook. Moore Her. You can put me on Instagram, the whole 9 Her, 008, all that. So just check in and let's get some of this stuff popping, man, and get to the nitty-gritty of it. We need to get to the point where we get some of these people in here, man, to chime in, these people that we talking about, man, to chime in as well.
Hey, man, make sure y'all check in next week, man. We thank y'all for watching, man. I know y'all could have been anywhere. Hey, nephew, y'all spent the whole hour with me. Thank you. ZZ, thank you. Slit Weed Bill. Thank you, man. We appreciate y'all time, man. Till next week, let's talk about it. Atlanta rap.
Let's talk about it.
We are.
Yes, sir. Peace.